What's going on, Cancer? And welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and I hope you're feeling fantastic. I hope you're braced for this energy today. It's a pretty big day, Cancer. We got a lot of energies going on here. But for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just amazing, Cancer, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy how yourself has brought you here. We're in for an amazing journey. Now, the purpose of this channel, for those of you who have Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mars, wherever, Cancer, this one's for you. And I do tarot card spreads based off our ruler here, the good old Moon. Our guardian, Cancer, I gotta just switch that up. Our guardian, Cancer, the good old Moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, when she's going void of courses, all of those lunar shenanigans. And there are plenty of them, Cancer. I'm about to start unrolling some new stuff here soon. I'm really excited. And just so you're all aware that, Cancer, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you. Leave the rest with me. Never force a reading on a situation, and everything will be dealt, Cancer. Let's jump into it, because we got a lot to cover here, Cancer. Cancer, but luckily, though, your space has been cleansed. Maybe cleanse your space today, Cancer. Take some sage, maybe go around there, open some windows, get some fresh air going through, Cancer. Crystals. Feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Cancer. And Cancer, I love this. Happy Moon Day. The moon is associated with Mondays. The moon is here. And the moon is a great day, Cancer, for you to just kind of take in. It really is a great day for just really kind of taking care of yourself there, Cancer. Checking in with your emotions. See how you're doing. This can be a time to, I feel that moon days can really be one where we kind of foster creativity. And if we have a family, if someone was just telling me a great example of how to, I feel like, to celebrate a moon day, especially if you have, maybe kids, to set up a family kind of like maybe paint day or something where you can get kind of creative, something where you can take your emotions or whatever you're feeling in and channel that. Maybe we're doing some sort of like maybe group, maybe family, like who knows, puzzles or whatever this is looking like, or wherever you're in your space doing something like that for you. This could be, and if we don't, we're just kind of kicking it single. This could be where, maybe doing some journaling, doing maybe you're write a screenplay, Cancer. Do something, just some light creative work, just something to really kind of process the emotions, feel kind of comfortable, not just even in just your safe space like your home, but inside, Cancer, making sure that everything is feeling in flow here. And if there's something that is not, this is I really feel like the moon is kind of setting us up today, Cancer, for a lot of energy to process. Because with this, we had a lot going on here, like I was saying. But let's start with the first energy here, because the moon is going void of course today, Cancer. The moon is going to be going void of course at about 4:22 p.m. and that will be Pacific time. And then she will be moving from Cancer into Leo at about 7:23. So we're looking about a 3-hour void of course time there, Cancer. And the void of course energy is what happens when the moon forms her final aspect with a celestial body. Think of herself. And the planet that she's forming the kind of flavor of this void of course energy is she's formed a trine with Neptune. So for these next few hours, that's going to be kind of the tone that is in this void of course energy here, Cancer. Now, a couple things with the void of course. It can be translated as a time where nothing happens. And I was just listening to something not too long ago, and I liked how he put it. His name's Alexander Kolesnikov. And he was talking about as a port of instead of like the void of course, I like the term he used of roaming the void. And usually what happens with this energy is that usually like nothing tends to happen. Like, for example, if you let's say if I were to put out a video around the void of course time, it may not get the views that it would seem. You know, fun little fact here, Cancer, about the void of course. Ronald Reagan, when he had bad news that he needed to deliver to the nation, he would schedule them around void of course times, because then when the Aries were programmed, it just sort of kind of came and went. You know, it's very interesting, like how, but if you, let's say if you were to plan a wedding and it falls on the void of course, that doesn't mean your wedding's going to be canceled. There may be some little like weird goofs. Maybe someone wears a wrong dress, or maybe someone forgets to bring something. Maybe we have to go back and maybe do like some last minute like little hiccup thing, like typical hiccup things that would happen in like a wedding. But it's not anything that's going to be, you know, like super life changing. But what I do feel like a constructive use for these, so you know, utilize that to your advantage, Cancer. You know, maybe you have a tough conversation. Well, it's not. We don't want to use it to avoid. Be mindful with this energy, Cancer. But one thing I feel like a real constructive way to go with the void of course energy too is that after she does form that final aspect, it's just like she kind of sits with the energies that have just transpired as she's gone through the sign of Cancer. You know, and this is I feel like I feel like when you're forming this trine with Neptune, that's a harmonious aspect that the moon is forming with Neptune. And Neptune and the moon have a very nice connection. The moon does very well in Neptune, or excuse me, in Pisces, and Neptune I feel does very well in Cancer, both being water energies, both being feminine energies, Neptune being the higher octave of Venus. There's a lot of nice energies coming through with this conversation, and that's why I say with like this can be a time where we can get into that sort of creative space, because there could be maybe some inspirations that may come up. And I feel this is where, when we're getting in that space, Cancer, keep a notebook by you, you know, because maybe while you're painting, maybe you think of a solution for your job, you know, because when we're even thinking about going from Cancer into Leo, we've gone introspective, we've been in all these emotions, and now Leo is expressing that emotions. And when you think about Leo energy, and I'll talk about that more tomorrow, it's about that kind of psychic refueling energy, you know, we do that through creativity, through expression. And so I feel that, you know, this could be in energy in these few hours, if you happen to find the time, or if you even feel kind of throughout the day there, Cancer. Just kind of pay attention to your daydreams, and if something happens to come up, maybe do like a voice memo just in that moment, just so that it doesn't like kind of flee away, because I feel this could be something too, if we have any sort of like any deep emotions that may be kind of coming up there, allowing yourself to just sort of sit, observe with them, and then when the moon enters into the next sign, to just sort of like naturally let that go. I told you I had this experience not too long ago, actually, when it was this transition from Cancer into Leo. I had a real kind of deep thing that was coming up, and I was trying to understand it. And then as soon as the moon entered Leo, she was just like, all right, we're done with that. We're good with that. Like, we'll come back to that if we need to. Maybe it gives you something to kind of keep an eye on as far as like when these energies come up, you know, as far as like markers. So pay attention to this, Cancer, because we also too, Cancer, this is a pretty big day too, because now we're reaching a kind of one of the first critical points in our lunar cycle, the first corner moon, and that's happening in our sign at 12:13 p.m. And this is going to be happening the sun will be at 26 degrees, 18 minutes of Aries, and the moon will be at 26 degrees, 18 minutes of Cancer. And when we're in this first quarter phase, this is where they're forming that first waxing square. So the energies have been building up from this, you know, whatever intention that you set off during this new lunar, you know, this new astrological year, but during this new lunar cycle as well. And so now this is a pretty big, I feel like this is where actions are needing to be taken, where decisions are needing to be made. Maybe there are some internal challenges, maybe there's some internal fears, some emotions that are coming up. Because I say this is a lot of strong energy because in this square, because the sun is exalted in Aries, so he's most celebrated in Aries, and the moon is domicile in Cancer. And so this could be where I almost feel like it could maybe even translate as not necessarily almost like identity crisis feels extreme, but there could be, I feel like, a lot of doubts with this, as far as like maybe we're wanting to go one way, but we're feeling like, can I actually achieve this thing? Maybe one way that this is coming up, or I feel like maybe the fears of the sun possibly could maybe translate in the moon in a weird way and can maybe create these sort of like kind of false images, I feel, or something. It's very interesting how this may be translated. I'd be curious to hear how this energy may be coming up for you here, Cancer. Are there some things that do you feel this kind of, are you feeling maybe anxiety? Are you feeling this? Are you free flowing? This could be something too, Cancer. Maybe things have been going well and maybe we're internally creating some sort of conflict as far as like, oh, everyone else seems to be maybe a little stressed out. Maybe I need to not be in the flow. Maybe I, may bring up doubts as far as that, because why this day is so jam packed, because on the same day, Mercury retrograde is forming conjunction with Chiron. So now this is reflecting, I feel, on what was revealed during during the eclipse, the new moon solar eclipse that just happened. I feel this can maybe bring up some things, maybe some stuff. I feel this is a time, really, Cancer, to really kind of focus in when we do have like maybe emotions that you don't understand, place them in the body. Why does it, really feel like, okay, I'm feeling this maybe in my throat, or maybe I'm feeling this in my chest, maybe this is feeling in the arms, in Aries is very kind of geared to the body. And so maybe this could be something where maybe I need to talk this thing out, possibly if it's coming from the throat, maybe needed to process this thing, maybe I need to move this thing out, maybe go run, maybe go stretch, but I do feel that with this all happening today, there may be a feeling, I feel too, maybe of things possibly going too fast. Maybe there's a need to, maybe we're feeling like we might be even a little bit behind, whatever this may be, because too, we're still in that energy of that Mars-Saturn conjunction, but now that's starting to wane. The energies are starting to let up. So I feel this can be an energy of seeing motion, but maybe we're afraid of the motion that is coming. Maybe it's just like the fact that the thing is becoming real, possibly. It's like, it's a nice feeling, but then it's just like, okay, well then what's next? How do I keep this momentum? Possibly. That could even be another energy that comes up here, Cancer. But with all these questions that are coming up, I do feel like it is a reminder to breathe, because I feel like the body instinctually knows where it's going, because I feel this is a very nice supporting energy in here, is Venus is conjunct the North Node in Aries. And so I feel this is Venus really kind of feeling comfortable with this relationship of the person of who she's trying to become, getting comfortable with her destiny, because that's where the North Node is, and comfortable with where this journey is going next, because we've all just set off on a collective fool's journey. Will just happen a lot, and this is a really big kickoff, Cancer, because the final one that's happening, that's been building up for a while, this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. And I'm not going to go super deep into these ones, Cancer. If this is something that you're curious about and wanting to see how this energy is maybe, or wanted more in depth of what my thoughts are on this and what I'm feeling with this, I do it on my other channel, Alchemist State. I do weekly videos that are come out on every Wednesday, Mercury days. So, and usually around there on Mercury hour. So that's something to check out there, Cancer, if you wanted to go more in depth with this. But this conjunction especially with the Jupiter Uranus building up here, I feel what's going to happen, or how this is like almost like a sort of like a kind of a catapult here in a sense. It's like the intention that you set for the eclipse gets built up into this kind of pressure, this cannon that is now this Uranus, these outer planets Uranus conjunction, or excuse me, Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that are going to kind of propel this stuff forward as Jupiter enters into Gemini. I feel like there are going to be new ideas that are coming into the mix, maybe people doing more collaborative projects, people maybe even having, I even feel like possible, like the ideas of what is possible could even expand here. Like your ideas of what you're viewing is changing here. It's really cool energy. And I feel this is something that is really kind of supported here when I was talking about the flavor of the void of course energy, that moon trining Neptune as she gets towards the end of this. I feel this can be a day of really kind of planning, Cancer, kind of charting your progress. How do you feel about the intentions that you set? Do we need to tweak some things? Because, you know, when we're building up to this energy to the full moon, you can set these intentions, you know, build. And hopefully if you've built this vision board, I'm going to post a picture of mine, Cancer. I just finished mine the other day, and I will post a picture of it. And yeah, you can see just, you know, I feel this is a really great time for setting intentions, Cancer, especially this year, because there's so much collective energy behind this as well that's coming through there. There's a powerful energy. There's a lot of power in community, and Pluto is trying to teach us that when we get into this energy of ritual, when we're syncing up with the moon. And it is not letting the energies necessarily tell you what to do, but it gives you a cycle to flow into, to feel more naturally into the stuff, to understand these tensions. It's like, oh, of course I'm feeling this stuff, this pressure, this stuff here. We're getting closer to the full moon, which I've been even kind of feeling is, one, I'm definitely going to take a little time for myself, because I had an interesting little spell the last time the moon was in Scorpio. And this is where that moon is going to be happening. It's squaring my Saturn placement, and it's lining up with exactly lining up with my IC in midheaven. So this one is this eclipse is kind of looking at me. So I'm kind of getting in the mindset of what that is looking like. But yeah, this is the time, Cancer. Taking advantage of these energies, especially when you get towards that void of course energy. Meditate on this stuff. Get a game plan. Celebrate the fact that you're aware that things need to change, that you're being mindful of how you're going about, how you're showing up in your journey. You know, I feel the first quarter one doesn't just have to be one of just challenges, and there's growth that's happening. It's a time of being flexible and just working with the energies and being patient and trusting. You know, like it's magician energy. You know, it's very cool how there's, even in this card, talks about how this can be magician. It's the manifestation that's happening. You have all the tools that you need. So I like that, Cancer. But yeah, a lot of energy to kind of process here. So yeah, definitely, if you find some time, may take some time for yourself. But last little bit here, Cancer. Oh, and Cancer, if you're curious how these energies are activating in your chart and where the focus is going for you, book a reading with me, Cancer. I do all types of stuff. We can go over. I like to do, especially for like Cancerian energy. One thing I'd like to talk about is going over lunar return charts and seeing what is the flavor for the month for you that's going on there. That's where the moon's at, especially if you have Cancer in a personal planet. You know, whether it's Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. That plays into your day to day, Cancer. Those energies. So this is something where learning where the lunar cycles are at, what the focus is going to be, what the moon, what you need emotionally this month in order to, and where's the sun focusing, where, you know, I've been, and I'll be talking about this more here soon. I'm thinking about how to make this a regular thing, but with where my chart's at, my moon is in the second house. It's building this sense of worth, both inwards and outwards, accumulating these resources, kind of getting things in order. And I had a lot of focus in the first house and a lot of focus in the 12th house. And that's going to be, for a good chunk of us, there's going to be this high concentration of energies because all the planets are gathered on one side of the chart. When I looked at my following month's chart, they all flipped to the opposite side. There's some real heavy focus here. So this is something to pay attention to. A lot of stuff that I'm going to be growing into, some things that I'm going to be letting go. And That just actually just a little thought that Cancer this kind of came through, but yeah, this is something where we can work. I work with the solar return charts. I like working with the progress charts there. Cancer, kind of navigating this stuff, really getting to understand the tools that you're working with, getting you to ask yourself these questions in life and get to understand the meaning of the gifts that you have to bring to this journey. So if that's something that resonates with you, I have links down in the description box below. I'm working with someone on getting some other things in order here, Cancer. I got a lot of big things that I'm tackling this month here, so, and I feel like I'm seeing tangible results. So yeah, I will be getting on some cool stuff here soon there, Cancer. It's going to be little incremental thing, little baby steps, but stay tuned for that. And so, but I'll be posting stuff down in my description box, in description box, and on my Instagram page as well. And I'm working on getting it on my Facebook and possibly on LinkedIn too, Cancer. And then I think that's all I got for you there, Cancer. Last few things. These readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations. And then the decks that I'm working with. And I've, down in that description box, well, it is lit, Cancer. I could go discuss all that stuff, but I have different resources, different as far as like different apps, different websites to check out, different books that I really enjoy. I'm going to start I'm just going to be adding on to that stuff there, Cancer. So if anything you feel inspired, any sort of decks that you see me using, if you have any questions, if I haven't posted one, because I know there's a couple that I've missed, but yeah, please feel free to reach out, and I'll definitely share links with Cancer and all that lovely stuff. So all right, let's get into your general energy day, Cancer. Oh, I dig it, Cancer. Look at this starry night that you. Ooh, look at this, Cancer. Talking about the void here. You got the starry night card here, which is a card of acceptance. And Cancer, that's interesting. This acceptance, I feel, for some is that inside calling. That I feel is almost like higher self, universe, true self, God, almost, however you connect with that bigger part of your life. It's almost acceptance of that journey, but it's not necessarily like you just feeling obligated. It's, do you feel ready to accept the responsibilities of the gifts that you've come into, to complete the constellation in this starry sky, to be one of the many galaxies that kind of come together here to make this world so brilliant there. That's one thing I really enjoy about astrology. It's like I get every chart that I see, it's like a different snapshot of the galaxy. It's so, it's real powerful, Cancer, when you think about what's going on within us. Like there's this acceptance here is giving me very kind of 12th house vibes, very, very flavor of this void of course energy, that trine Neptune energy. And whenever the moon is, at least for right now, whenever the moon is, the last aspect she'll form in a water sign is going to be, unless there happens to be a later degree in an earth sign, is the trine with Neptune right now. And so this has been a great energy during these void of course times to really kind of learn this acceptance, learn this energy of trusting in you, essentially, Cancer. When we're saying listening, trusting your higher self, that is still yourself, but it's the self that's bigger than this vessel here, than the ego, which, and I don't, and I feel like it's the personality, because the ego here is to develop a personality, to learn a certain type of energy here, and then to let it go, and then to grow. And that's where I feel that it's almost, there's this acceptance here, because when you start thinking about like 12th house things, that's actually really interesting that this is popping up, because I was just talking with someone who has a 12th house, who's their sun, Mercury, and Jupiter are all conjunct in the 12th house. And I was talking with them about that energy of the 12th house, which is about that need to let go of the ups and downs of life. Sometimes, it's not to say that a situation doesn't suck, but it is what it is. What is it trying to teach me? What can I learn from this experience? Why is this happening at this time? And it's that that understanding it's like in a grander scheme of things. It's very big energy that this how interesting on this day. But this could be maybe where some of that dissonance is. Maybe there's something here with that square. There's a side of you. I feel the sun in Aries. I feel like the sun and the moon are, it's not necessarily that they're outwardly, I feel like outwardly they're on the same page, but it's just like something is internal, is having troubles committing to something here. It's like maybe the inside is, it's like maybe if I were to say, I'm calling you a galaxy, calling you wonderful, but you're having troubles maybe seeing that in yourself. That it's that sort of integration, understanding, acceptance of your brilliance. Of your place in this journey. Let me get some tarot on this, Cancer. Let's fill this starry night up here. Let's see what's going on here. Cancer, this could be just, just even talking about acceptance. Yeah, this could be just interesting, Cancer. All right, Cancer, hold on. We're gonna really get into this. Thank you, higher self. I'm getting chills even just thinking about it. Oh, that's cool. How fascinating. So, very fascinating. So you have the Princess of Cups, the Priestess, our lovely, lovely guardian here, the Moon. Libra, the Adjustment card or the Justice card. Also one of Libra's cards for me, the Queen of Swords. Aries' hottest card, the Two of Wands, the Minor Arcana cards. And then, of course, Aries, the Emperor here. And what feels very interesting about this energy here, Cancer, is that we all do have a responsibility here. And Pluto in Aquarius is asking us all to, because in order for us to grow as a collective, we have to grow as an individual. And I love that both Libra and Aries are here because that's where the North and the South Node are at right now. I feel that we've maybe gotten in this place where, and that's been kind of, that we just had that eclipse that just happened, that for our first eclipse happened with Aries and Libra. And so I feel like there's this acceptance is one where I feel like there's a larger role in what you're meant to play, and I feel like there is this adjustment that is happening. Libra energy is about Libra makes a contract with universe and accepts the task of trying, where most signs have a natural way of finding balance. Libra has to just accept the fact that some things are just kind of chaotic, and how do I balance that out? How do I make sense of that going forward? I feel with the Queen of Swords being here, and I feel it's in this sort of like internal questioning that's happening, because I feel this High Priestess here, we're getting ready to go on a kind of long journey here. There's this camel in this card, and I'm thinking about how camels, can make those long treks through the desert because they've kind of stored that water in their hump. And I feel that this is one where I feel there is an acceptance that there is something bigger happening here. I feel collectively there is an acknowledgement of that. And and that doesn't mean that there isn't a resistance to that, of course. But I feel that this is a time, we're in a very interesting energy right now, where the focus is more kind of internal, more intuitive. The Priestess here, when I was thinking about the moon, and I may have mentioned this, the moon only shows us her face and how it changes. But what we're seeing is how she's processing the downloads from universe, from source. And I feel when she's void, of course, when she's roaming the void, she invites us to play in that realm as well. She wants us to have that same relationship with source, to be able to go with the flow of this life and know. I know it's very fascinating here, but there is a lot of, with all of this acceptance, with all of this change, I do feel like this Princess of Cups is making sure to take care of your needs, Cancer, because there could be, I feel like, a lot of new emotions that may be coming up here. This could be, again, very exciting energy too. I don't feel like this just has to be something where it's all just kind of doom and gloom. It may feel, I feel like it may feel, it's like a little uncomfortable. And I don't, this discomfort that I'm talking about, I feel like we're not doing something that doesn't resonate with us. But it's like when we're thinking about fear, for example, fear is uncomfortable, but it's when we face our fears and we work with the fears and we make these choices here that, and just kind of trust that intuition, like, it's not putting yourself in danger. Aries is not just jumping recklessly into things. That can be a shadow side of them, just being impulsive, but this is just trusting in this instinct here, that something inside is calling to something bigger here, making peace with that, this adjustment card. It's very big stuff. I feel this acceptance is kind of, let's get some more on this, Cancer. We're in a very intuitive time. Cancer, there's some things that even I'm finding that I'm doing that are just more intuitive. Like on technology, for example, I actually did some wizardry not too long ago that for me is wizardry. And it was very intuitive. But it started with me working with anger. I was feeling frustrated. I couldn't figure something out there. And then when I was just like, okay, well, hitting something isn't going to solve anything, so what can I do with this? And then the body just did something. It just like, okay, I need to solve this. And then I got the idea. Absolutely. Hold on, Cancer. Thank you, higher self. Let's see what else is going on here, Cancer. Oh, look at this. So you have we're getting ready to move into Leo here soon. So you have the Seven of Swords, the Eight of Cups, the Ace of Swords, the Knight of Cups, and then the Lust card or the Strength card, Leo energy. And Cancer, there's strength in this acceptance. I feel like this acceptance is giving this energy of, it's a surrendering energy. There's something here, I feel for some, there's an idea with the Ace of Swords that maybe we're needing to make peace with. There may have been, because the Seven of Swords can be it can be a deceptive energy. It could be, I feel this could be to, in the Seven of Swords, there's this figure that's trying, he's removing these swords, taking these swords because he doesn't want the army to fight. He wants to find an alternative way to go about this. He doesn't want there to be a war. And I feel like this is acceptance is in, maybe we've been going about doing something a certain way, and maybe you thought that's all there was, or there was to doing something, but then I feel like there's something here about, there's an acceptance of another way here with the Two of Wands. Something is opening up here. You gaining this because this is a powerful card, the Two of Wands. This is Mars and Aries. It's a very potent card. And I feel that this, with this acceptance here, this it's you. It's you coming into this strength here, but it's a choice that you're making here, Cancer, of what's happening. And it's, I feel like it's a very intuitive choice, one that is, you know, like for an example of like, it could be like for me, a great example would be where right around my Saturn return, that's usually around like 28 between, and the energies take about a few years to build up, and then that takes, you know, that builds up what you work on over the next 30 years. You know, Saturn returns are big stuff. You know, those are life-changing things. Actually, my mom, and actually my partner's mom, is going through Saturn returns right now. I know of quite a few people who are getting up on these. If you have Saturn in Pisces, you know, we're coming up on Saturn returns right now. And I remember my Saturn return, I was still kind of, I was getting better about it. And I think it's just because the energy was starting to wax then. You know, I was drinking a little bit less. I was smoking cigarettes a little bit less, you know, just sort of doing things less. And there was this, it was a very clear moment. I remember thinking that one day around my, I think around like my birthday, I think it was around like maybe 30, about 30. So like there was this internal voice of just like, this ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work. Where with how you're going, it's not gonna work. And I've had a big, not a big mess to clean up, but I did have a mess to clean up. But there was an acceptance that happened. I wasn't working with my strengths like I could. I wasn't tapping into my Leo energy. It was you doing it very differently. And there was this acceptance that, yeah, something needed to change, and it hasn't been an easy change, but there has been so many benefits from it. Looking back, it's wild to even think about, you know, even a year ago, you know. So I do feel that there is this energy here, Cancer, of accepting things that have happened. This is the way they are. You know, this is, you know, maybe we had a certain idea about something. It turned out to not be true. You know, maybe whatever this is, I feel like there's this real kind of harsh acceptance of reality. But it's like a reality check kind of with this energy is what is kind of giving. But I don't feel where it doesn't it doesn't need to be one where I feel it has to floor you. It could be one where, yeah, we need to maybe take care with the Princess of Cups. These are maybe some fresh emotions that may be kind of coming up here. But I feel that I feel like you're able to get in harmony here. And there's a cornucopia down here with the Priestess, that when we take this time and tend to our emotional needs, the Priestess is the Moon card. You know, we can only really trust and tap into that intuition when we listen to our feelings and trust our feelings and inform this relationship and understand where they're trying to guide you. Pay attention, because really, you know, Cancer, and let's get some advice from the Moon, because you got a lot of strong support here, Cancer. Yeah, this is a time I feel, again, things are changing, but there are beautiful changes that are happening here, Cancer. It's a lot of work, absolutely. But it's one where it's collective work. Doesn't have to be where you're shouldering this by yourself. You know, we're stronger as a team. The Starry card gives me the Star card energy. You know, that Starry Night. And look at this, Cancer. You know, I love this Knight of Cups, because the crab in this card, it represents the strength of the ocean. Cancer, you represent that energy, that frequency represents the strength of the ocean. It's cardinal water, you know. And I feel there's Neptune. I'm with it, Cancer. And let me get some. Ooh, Cancer, look at all these lunar shenanigans. I'm with it. So, Cancer, hold on here. Let's see what's happening. We got a lot of energy here. So, thank you, higher self. You have the Five of Wands, the Ten of Wands, the Prince of Wands, the Three of Disc, the Nine of Disc, the Nine of Cups, the Hanged Man, Neptune energy, and the sign that they're guardian over Pisces, the moon card here. Let's switch back over. Because I do love this, Cancer. Even just thinking with, I'm getting chills with all this lunar energy that's going on here. I feel that this is a time to really kind of, even just this is a time of like really kind of working on yourself, you know, with all this Aries energy. You know, we're still kind of in this Aries season right now, and then we're going to get into, you know, the first half of the zodiac is about this building up of self, and of course we're still interacting with others, you know, but there is something internally that is happening, that's changing, and of course it's being tested with people as we're growing. But the first half of the zodiac is a more internal one, and I feel like there is this, you know, we're just getting from that acceptance energy, and we still have Mars that's lingering in Pisces, still going through that. But it's just, I'm feeling with just like this Nine of Discs and this Nine of Cups, I feel that this can be an energy where, with some work, some collaboration, because again, this is not you just doing this by yourself there, Cancer. There are things that we do by ourselves, and things that we do with, you know, things that we do with others. But I do feel like there may be some energies where we might be feeling a little frustrated, you know, with the Five of Wands being here. There may be some external conflicts, there may be some internal conflicts, because there's a lot. But understand, I feel like it's because it's a pressure cooker that's kind of going on here, you know. And I feel this full moon is going to be one, with happening in Scorpio, is going to be one of a release. It's very interesting when you think about where the sun and the moon are going to be at in Taurus, and in, I think Venus, if I'm remembering correctly, I'll have to double check. Venus might still be in, oh, I'll have to double check on that. But regardless, Cancer, let me wrap this up here as I am keeping it a little long. But I do feel that it's not just all going to be restrictions, and I feel like this tension here that's kind of building up, Cancer, because the moon card is this card of illusions, a card of, but also a card of new beginnings. And I feel like there's this, once we've taken some time to kind of meditate, I feel like maybe where you're wanting to go, maybe there's some truths that we're accepting, and then it's just like, now where do I go from here? You know, depending on what stage you're at. This conflict doesn't have to be anything super crazy, but it could just be, there's this just dissonance that we're feeling. You know, I feel the Prince of Wands, the Prince of Wands is seeing things clearly, and I say that because he's the only prince in this deck that has his eyes open. One. But I feel like he's Leo for me, and there's this energy of Leo energy, I feel, where is not immune to depression, has a easier time of getting out of it than other energies. Even at my lowest, I really credit a lot of my higher self knew what they were doing when they were putting my chart together. When I felt really low, that Jupiter in Leo, that did a lot of help being in my ascendant, and just like all that Leo, that optimism, that enthusiasm really kind of helps. And that's where I feel that this is a time where, if we can try to channel this acceptance and whatever comes up, and then channel that towards enthusiasm, towards what's to come, I feel like it can change to really kind of just the trajectory of where we're going individually and collectively. So I have a lot of things to kind of cover through here, Cancer. Again, so hopefully that, and I figured too, you know, with what was going on here, I figured I was going to have quite a bit to talk with about. So hopefully hung in there with me, Cancer, as we swam through the void, as we were roaming through the void. But Cancer, if any of that resonated with you, or if you like that, Cancer, give it a thumbs up. and share this with Cancer. Share your experience through this energy. You know, as you know, this, I feel this can be one where we're understanding each other, how each other are functioning under each of the moon phases, and I feel like this can help us accept, you know, like each of us can bring something on different days. Like, ooh, maybe those with moon and Capricorns are kind of taking it easy when the moon's in Cancer because we're in oppositions. But you know, maybe the water moons are more so kind of stepping into play, and then we move to air moons. The air moons are coming to action, and you know, like we can like work together here in just a different, like a more harmonious type of way here, Cancer. But then subscribe there, you High Priestess. Hit that bell button, you know. I mean, the High Priestess just knows when I release videos. We're just trust that intuition. But if you have other things you need to focus on, hit that bell button, get notified on all these videos each day. And last little bit there, Cancer. Again, come over. Excuse me. If you're curious about how these energies are working in your chart, how the moon transits throughout each of your houses, or if you're curious about where the planets are coming up, especially with all these big conjunction energies, you know, even understanding with like what, you know, with this being the first new moon of the zodiacal year, you know, the first lunar cycle of the zodiacal year with, you know, with the sun kicking off in Aries. It's nice to know, you know, where the sun wants you to start off each year. You know, where do you want to grow? The sun for me when he's in Aries is happening in the 9th house. So these are ways that every year it's like, how can I expand? How can I expose myself to something different, break out of my routine? I'm a lover of routines, but it's like, how can I break out of my routine while sticking to routine? And I found astrology has really kind of helped. But it's, you know, and when you get to thinking like that, because now I have been thinking a lot bigger. I was just like, maybe I've been kind of limiting myself. So on my vision board out, and again, I'll put a picture on there. I've been getting signs about Africa, so I think I'm going to go to Africa here, Cancer. I'm manifesting Africa. So stay tuned for that. I'll send safari pics. But yeah, definitely book a reading with me there, Cancer. I have all that information down in the description box below. And believe me, I can talk about your chart all day there, Cancer. And then come over to my other channel, Alchemist State. I do weekly videos there talking about the astrological weather, and all that information, Cancer, is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here, Cancer. So I can get you out of here. Look at how you're hooking it up. Told you I was feeling star. I'm glad I said something. Told you I was feeling star card energy here, Cancer. And look at what we ended on, the star card. And you know, Cancer, I hate to say, well, no, I don't. Cancer, I have to inform you that you need to accept that you are a star, and that we all have amazing potential here, and we all have a place in this starry night that I feel is kind of going on here, Cancer. But I feel the star card is a big kind of indicator here, is keeping that hope. You know, that things, even when things feel a bit tumultuous and when they feel like they're going against you, that it's an acceptance, I feel, too. Let me get your other card here. It's an acceptance that the universe isn't, or, you know, these situations aren't meant to feel like they're happening to you. You know, universe is happening for you. You know, higher self is setting you up for success. I feel it's in the, you know, when I look about what I've gone through so far, it's just like, could I have wanted a different experience? Sure. But I wouldn't be the person I am now. So it's like, no, I think I'll take this guy. You know, like I feel like because who knows what, I may not, you know, count your blessings, because who knows, you may not, oh, interesting. But you may not. Best example I would say is, I know Saturn's going through my 8th house right now, and that's been a little intense. And I just get thinking about some things, but I'm getting myself in order, and Saturn is pleased. And I'm just going through this transit for a couple of years, but I know someone who has Saturn in the 8th house all the time, and in Scorpio. So it's a matter of perspective, Cancer. And I like this. Cancer's talking about acceptance and growth and things. You got the 20th card here, which is the dolphin spirit. And this is a card of this and that are true. And I bring that up saying this is a 20th card because that's judgment card energy. Now, with the Seven of Swords having popped up here, I do feel that you always have free will, Cancer. You can accept what is true, what is not true, but multiple things can be true at the same time. It's all a matter of who we're talking to. I can see one thing, when I look at, just even thinking astrology, when I see the sign Cancer, I feel one thing. When someone looks at the other sign Cancer, they see another thing. Some people say Cancer is very, very nurturing about the home space, and I get that, but I feel Cancer, I lean more into the emotional. I feel when I think home in Cancer, I think home in the body. I feel Cancer can make themselves at home wherever, and I think that's the kind of, well, that's a discussion for another day. But I do feel like this is really paying attention to your reality, Cancer, and what you be. This is a time of being both subjective and objective. Checking what's going on internally and how that is manifesting externally. Really keeping that connection together, and I feel there's even a bigger connection where we're observing what's happening. Even it's like that Pisces energy, the mind, it's that Pisces, like observing the mind, observing the world. Like that sort of energy too, having that connection there, understanding that where this and that are true in this realm, but when you think about it, I mean, just go watch The Matrix, Cancer. It's like that sort of feeling. But I am gonna leave that there, Cancer. Something to think about. Like I feel that's going to be manifestation is hot, and I feel like it's only going to get hotter when Neptune moves into Aries, and I feel like this is a time to just understand what is true and what is not. But you stay safe out there, Cancer. I held you for a little bit, but stay safe out there, or Cancer, stay aware out there. Stay mindful, keep eyes on the moon there, Cancer. Just trust your intuition. This is a time of, we're getting to this time of action. We're getting closer to the full moon there. Not too far away. Got about a little under 2 weeks now there, Cancer. So if we haven't set any kind of intentions or anything, this can be a time. Work with this potent energy with the sign of my ear. I'm even getting a kind of a work with this energy, Cancer. And I will catch you on the next one tomorrow.